Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news. Now folks, if you're a Steelers fan, you know that this offseason has been anything but ordinary. The Steelers have made some serious moves that are signaling loud and clear that they're all in this year. We've seen a team that's not just looking to compete, they're aiming for another Super Bowl appearance, maybe even more. And the moves they've made in the offseason show a clear intent. They want to push this roster to its limits, to maximize their chances of ending that long Super Bowl drought that's been haunting them since 2008. So, what exactly have they done? Well, it's pretty impressive. First, they signed Aaron Rodgers. Yes, you heard that right, the legendary quarterback is now a Steeler. It's a bold move, no doubt, but one that shows they're serious about competing at the highest level. Rodgers, despite being in the twilight of his career, still has the arm talent, the leadership, and the veteran presence that can elevate this entire offense. And let's not forget, the Steelers have built a strong offensive line, a solid group of receivers, and a coaching staff that's known for maximizing their quarterback's potential. This pairing could be one of the most exciting storylines of the 2024 season. But it's not just Rodgers. The Steelers also made a trade for DK Metcalf, one of the most explosive wide receivers in the league. Metcalf's speed, size, and playmaking ability give Pittsburgh a serious weapon on the outside. Imagine a deep threat that defenses have to respect, combined with the precise route running of their other receivers. This kind of talent infusion is exactly what you need when trying to take that next step towards Super Bowl glory. The Steelers are clearly looking to upgrade their offensive weapons, giving Kenny Pickett, their young quarterback, the best possible chance to succeed. And let's talk about maintaining their core, because Pittsburgh didn't just bring in new talent, they also kept some of their veteran stars. T.J. Watt, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, remains a Steelers fixture, a cornerstone of their defense. Keeping Watt in the fold is critical because his pass-rushing prowess is unmatched, and his leadership on the field is vital for the team's overall defensive identity. The Steelers have been balancing the delicate act of star retention and adding fresh talent, which is a hallmark of their recent success. Now, as they gear up for the upcoming season, rumors and whispers are swirling about the possibility of adding even more pieces before the season kicks off. The Steelers are not just content with what they have, they're looking for that extra edge, that little spark that could push them over the top. And one player that's been in the spotlight lately is Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals' star edge rusher. If you follow the AFC North, you know that the Bengals have been a thorn in the Steelers' side over the past few years. Joe Burrow has become one of the league's top quarterbacks, and Cincinnati's defense has been increasingly aggressive, especially with Hendrickson leading the charge off the edge. The Bengals are working on a contract extension with Hendrickson, but things aren't looking too smooth right now. Negotiations have hit a snag, and Hendrickson has made it clear he's not planning to show up to the team's offseason workouts unless they get a deal done. This isn't the first time the Bengals and Hendrickson have been at odds during the offseason. It's almost become a yearly saga, with the team and player seemingly always on the brink of a contract dispute. And that's where the Steelers' interest starts to heat up. Because, if Hendrickson's situation continues to sour, if Cincinnati decides to trade him rather than risk losing him for nothing, Pittsburgh could be lurking, ready to pounce. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Back in the middle of last season, Steelers insiders and analysts were floating the idea that Hendrickson would be a perfect fit in Pittsburgh. Why? Because the Steelers have a history of valuing aggressive pass rushers, especially those who can complement T.J. Watt. Hendrickson's game is exactly that, relentless, powerful, and technically sound. He's barely into his prime, still in the middle of his career, and adding him to the Steelers' front seven could be a game changer. Imagine the Steelers with Watt and Hendrickson coming off the edges, creating constant pressure on opposing quarterbacks. That kind of duo could wreak havoc on offenses, forcing turnovers, sacks, and disrupting rhythm, exactly what Pittsburgh's defense has been striving for in recent years, but has sometimes lacked in consistency. And let's face it, the Steelers' defense has been a cornerstone of their identity since the days of the Steel Curtain. They've always prioritized a tough, physical, and disciplined defense, and adding a player like Hendrickson would only strengthen that philosophy. A league source recently mentioned to Steelers on SI that the idea of Pittsburgh making a move for Hendrickson is a no-brainer. The logic is simple. He fits their style, he's young enough to be a long-term answer, and he's in a situation where Cincinnati might be forced to trade him if they can't reach an agreement. Some insiders believe Cincinnati might prefer to trade him rather than risk losing him in free agency for nothing, especially given the current state of negotiations. If that happens, it could open the door for the Steelers to jump in, make an enticing offer, and bolster their pass rush even further. And it's not just about adding talent for talent's sake. The Steelers have shown a strategic approach in recent seasons, focusing on building through the draft, but also making savvy veteran signings and trades to fill specific needs. They understand that to compete in a division as tough as the AFC North, they need that extra edge. Adding Hendrickson would be that edge, a veteran who can bring leadership, relentless effort, and a proven track record of producing sacks and disrupting offenses. Now, what does this mean for the division and the league as a whole? Well, if Pittsburgh manages to add Hendrickson, it sends a clear message to their rivals. The Steelers aren't just content with competing, they want to dominate. They're willing to get aggressive, spend resources, and make bold moves to ensure their place at the top of the AFC North once again. And of course, this could have ripple effects on Cincinnati, which is trying to hold onto their star pass rusher, and on other teams in the division who will have to deal with an even more formidable Pittsburgh squad. It's fascinating because the AFC North has been one of the most competitive divisions in recent years, with Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh all vying for supremacy. The addition of a player like Hendrickson to the Steelers would tilt the scales further in their favor. It's a chess game, and Pittsburgh is playing it smart, looking to make strategic moves that could define their season and perhaps even their future. As we look ahead to the upcoming season, the Steelers are positioning themselves not just as contenders, but as serious threats. The combination of veteran leadership, fresh talent, and aggressive front office moves shows a team that's hungry for another deep playoff run. And if they manage to pull off a trade for Hendrickson, it could be the final piece needed to make their Super Bowl dreams a reality. Now, remember, Cincinnati's situation with Hendrickson isn't settled yet. They could extend him, or they could decide to trade him if negotiations fall apart. And if that happens, Pittsburgh might just be ready to make their move, capitalizing on the Bengals' internal struggles. It's a fascinating storyline, one that could define the AFC North's landscape for years to come. In the meantime, the Steelers are doing everything they can to stay ahead of the curve, and that's what makes this team so exciting to watch. They're not just resting on their laurels, they're actively building a roster capable of competing for a Super Bowl right now. And folks, with all these pieces coming together, it's hard not to feel optimistic about what this season could hold. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these rumors? Do you think the Steelers should make a bold move for Hendrickson? Do you believe they're truly all in this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. Keep supporting your team, because this is just the beginning of what could be an incredible season ahead.